What's up guys, Chris here, and today we're going to be going over why I chose to study bioengineering as a pre-med student, and eventually as an incoming M1 or medical student. Today I'll be going over why I think this was the best path for me, and why I think this could be the best path for a lot of you. Alright, let's get right into the video. Since freshman year of high school, I know I wanted to be a doctor, and I also love solving technical problems. I love solving math problems in high school. I really just enjoyed math and science a lot, but it wasn't in a way that kind of forced me in the direction of just engineering. I thought I could incorporate my love and passion for tech in medicine. Given that technology is kind of really reinforced in medicine these days, especially with AI, machine learning, predictive modeling, I'm actually very happy that I chose this route, and I do suggest a lot of you consider this for your future. As an incoming freshman, my mom actually suggested that I apply to a lot of schools studying bioengineering rather than a traditional pre-med majors major like biology, chemistry, anything like that. And although at the time I was kind of nervous to do something like that, I'm really grateful she did, because she knew that I was really interested in math and science and I wanted to incorporate those things in my life in the future. And they just made me happy. Like, I loved solving math problems throughout high school. I was on the math team. It was a hobby of mine, and I love math and computer science and stuff like that. Bioengineering seemed like the perfect bridge between medicine and technology, and that's why I kind of pursued that route and that major. I could eventually picture myself designing medical devices or things that would help patients directly on the tech side of things, but of course I did want to pursue an MD myself and possibly incorporate my engineering background in that one day. So I decided to major in it in undergrad. A lot of students ask, did I choose bioengineering, for example, to show med schools that I can study a really difficult major and I can kind of show off that I'm able to handle a difficult course load? I did not choose bioengineering for that reason. Some students do suggest doing something like that, but in my opinion, choosing a major just to impress medical school is not the best idea. I mean, you're going to be studying this for 4 years, and even if you're really sure on medicine, 4 years of your life is a long time. You kind of want to choose something that you would enjoy and something that you can balance pre-med classes with. And if you can balance an engineering major or a degree of study or something like that, I do suggest going that route if you want to. I'll be very honest, a lot of my courses during undergrad were pretty difficult. A lot of them involved thermodynamics or calculus 3, differential equations, kind of blended into courses where we cross-linked cells and the study of the human anatomy alongside this math and science and coding, and especially in MATLAB. Those of you from UAUC who are watching this, you know about MATLAB. But a lot of us in BioE kind of had to do stuff like that. And although it was really hard, it really forced me to stay engaged throughout my entire time in undergrad. And that's why I do suggest something like this for any pre-med major, something that'll keep you actively engaged, actively learning, constantly challenging yourself, but also getting into the field that you will work in one day. Because biology, as much as bioengineering, both will get you in the field. And I think for me, bioengineering was something that would get me in the field of medicine while also challenging me in the best way possible for me. When it came time to study for the MCAT, for example, I was already very used to studying very consistently for classes and kind of having a study schedule. Obviously, the MCAT was not easy, but it was a little easier for me to kind of develop the study schedule that I needed to do well enough to get a score that would get me into medical school. Also, what was great was that I had a really good basis in chemistry, a lot of physics basis that kind of superseded what was needed on MCAT, so studying for stuff like that wasn't that necessary for the MCAT. And any math as well was relatively easy for me because it's what I did a lot in classes to a much higher degree. Just in general, studying from an engineering background really helped me study for something like the MCAT, and I think it will help me as a medical student as well. And now let's be honest about things. Med schools do know that engineering degrees, bioengineering included, are not a walk in the park. If you are able to manage getting a relatively high GPA while studying something in the engineering field, I think that will go to show a lot to most medical schools. I was asked about in my interviews my GPA and how I maintain a relatively good GPA while being pre-med and studying engineering. And it's something that really helps you build discipline while studying and kind of perseverance throughout all your classes, because if you think pre-med classes are hard, you're going to be taking many difficult engineering classes as well. But once you surpass them and once you get used to studying for them, you kind of get used to the flow of things with regards to pre-med in general, and it helps a lot, in my opinion. Now, regarding including engineering in my study routines and stuff like that, and how that kind of impacted me, I did a lot outside of school that was engineering focused as well. I worked on some startups, and I tried my best to get involved with technology and medicine a lot, not just because it would make my application look better, but because I was genuinely interested in the field. And it was easier for me to relate and kind of get opportunities in the field because of my major, bioengineering. A lot of the research I did was kind of tech focused and CS focused, and the startup work I did as well was kind of more on the tech side, and I could attain opportunities like those because of my background in engineering and my strong passion for engineering in general. So again, I want to emphasize that if you are someone who likes tech, who likes science, who likes math, and you want to prepare yourself for the rigor of medical school, or at least for something like the MCAT, I do suggest considering studying something like engineering or bioengineering in general. Now, although my diploma says bioengineering on it, I was always set on medicine since I was a freshman in high school, as I mentioned to you guys. I'll do a separate video about that at another time. But during undergrad, I was able to manage working as a medical scribe part-time, and that's kind of got me in the field of medicine a lot, and I really loved that job. I learned a lot. And I also competed in engineering makeathons at my university, where students competed in like a day-long competition to come up with a solution to a problem in the healthcare field using technology, AI, anything like that, to kind of solve a significant healthcare problem. We were able to work alongside medical students at my university's med school, and a lot of those students had engineering backgrounds, so it was really cool to see how they managed to incorporate their engineering backgrounds in their medical degree studies. Obviously, eventually, as I mentioned before, I took the MCAT, And I was able to treat my MCAT as kind of like a big project, kind of like engineering type, where I kind of assigned different days and different times to do things to study. I'll link down below my kind of study routine that I use. It's from a separate YouTuber who I followed very well, which helped me a lot. And eventually, in the spring of last year, I submitted my MCAS and applications. And now I'm here sitting with the medical school acceptance, and I'll be attending medical school to pursue my MD in the fall. But yeah, on April 28th, actually, I got a notification while home that I had a status change on my application for medical school, and I was just very happy to see that I had been accepted. And all my work and experience in bioengineering and just the difficulties I went through studying for this major, because it was very hard, kind of paid off. One thing I will say is because I listed a lot of my experiences in engineering and tech on my application on the MCAS and a COMAS, I was asked about it a lot in my interviews. So there's a difference between just studying bioengineering and never touching technology otherwise. I don't think I would have gotten those questions if I hadn't done anything in the field of technology, at least from my interviewer's perspective. For example, if I did nothing with technology other than my major and my entire application activity-wise was just activities that had nothing to do with tech, I don't think I really would have been asked about bioengineering that much. And I don't think med schools really cared that I was a bioengineering major at that point that much, because I really didn't use it outside of the classroom. It was just something I studied. But for me, I really had a strong passion for technology. You can see my YouTube channel. It's a former tech review channel. So it's something I love to do outside of class, incorporate technology with medicine and just technology in general I really love. So I was asked about my major and my background in bioengineering and how it influenced my work in undergrad a lot in interviews. And I think it's something that can help a lot of you who are interested in technology, but also medicine, and want to be doctors who practice with a grounding in technology, at least a little bit. Now, the big question, would I choose bioengineering again? My answer is absolutely yes. I love the fact that over time, I was able to build perseverance and discipline because of the academic rigor of my major. I don't think many majors are going to be able to prepare you for medical school completely, but I think a lot of difficult ones will get you closer to something like that, because med school is very hard from what I've heard. By the time I was studying for the MCAT, it was a lot easier to prepare a plan for something like the MCAT because of my major. And also because of my major and my experiences outside of it, it gives you a technical edge that you will need more than likely in the future of medicine. With the rise of AI, predictive modeling, and just in general, anything to do with technology in the field of medicine as of late, I think anyone who comes into medicine with the lens that you will need to use technology one day more than likely, and it's going to be a big part of your practice as a physician, will have an upper hand over those who do not. And I've been told that by many doctors in the field right now. I think it also helped me have a really unique application story. I'm sure after reading many applications that were filled with the traditional pre-med route of clinical experience, volunteering, research, and then reading an application like mine, that I did have a lot of that, but it was in the scope of a technology in medicine and just kind of the future AI and stuff like that. It could have been a breath of fresh air for them. Of course, I don't know, but I'm hoping that I was able to make admissions committees know that I kind of want to work towards the future of medicine rather than just trying to look like a cookie cutter application or just someone who wants to get in. I really tried my best to show my authentic self, and it was easy to be my authentic self because I really loved all of this. So again, heavy advice on if you want to do engineering, if you love technology, and if you have a passion for it but also want to be a doctor, that is okay. And you can actually do what I did and study bioengineering or anything of the sort, take your pre-med classes and apply to medical school. And it can actually work out for you. And sometimes even better than if you were to just study something like biology or chemistry. If you don't think you want to go through the rigor and stuff like that and want to study a traditional pre-med major like biology, that's completely fine. I know a lot of biology students or friends of mine who graduated with biology who really incorporated technology in their research or in their work outside of school as well, and they got into medical school. So you can do it both ways. Obviously, my way was to study bioengineering, and I think I would do it all over again if I could. Now, to be honest about the challenges, at times you really do have a heavy workload while seeing your other pre-med friends study for the MCAT or study for Orgo or classes like that, and you have to do the same while also studying for classes like fluid dynamics or thermodynamic classes with the human anatomy kind of analyzed in bioengineering. You realize that you really are setting yourself up for a lot of difficulty, a lot of stress, a lot of feeling like you can't do it or you can't do it all. But just know that once you make it past these classes and you find out a good study routine and you time manage, emphasis on the time management, you will be able to make it through. Overall, my major gave me a really competitive advantage in my opinion, but it did require extra effort over time to make it all work. Some advice for aspiring engineering pre-meds that I can give you right now before I give you kind of my guide into getting to medical school later, or at least what I did, would be to get clinical experience early and try to get it in something that you'd like doing consistently for a long time. Highlight your engineering projects or tech projects in the future when you apply to medical school. It will actually help you and definitely not hurt you in my opinion. As long as you do show that your number one goal is to be a doctor, of course. And make sure to time manage very well. And that's all. That's my journey into medicine as an engineering major, former pre-med and now incoming medical student. It's nice to meet you all. I'm glad you all can make it this far in the video. This is my first sit-down video in a long time, and first of the type of videos I want to make in the future, where I'll be doing medfluencer content, but also incorporating news and information on technology and medicine in the videos. But yeah, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you guys all can make it this far in the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.